Vámonos de fiesta. Y ahora en mi corazón tú estás y ya no quiero a nadie más. Contigo me quiero pasarla, mamacita, vámonos de fiesta. Desde que te vi, buscaba una así. Desde que te vi, buscaba una así. Y por fin te conseguí. Que te vi, yo me enloquecí, buscaba una así y por fin te conseguí. Desde que te vi, yo me enloquecí, buscaba una así y por fin te conseguí. Y ahora en mi corazón tú estás y ya no quiero a nadie más. Contigo bien quiero pasarla, mamacita, vámonos de fiesta. Y ahora en mi corazón tú estás y ya no quiero a nadie más. Contigo bien quiero pasarla, mamacita, vámonos de fiesta. Desde que te vi, buscaba una así. Desde que te vi, buscaba una así. Y por fin te conseguí.
Ya vi que estás aquí, tan cerquita de mí, y me hacía falta, porque la última vez que vine tú no estabas, baby. Oh, vamos a tomar toda la noche, mujer, te invito a bailar hasta el amanecer. Tú quieres jugar y no quieres perder, vamos a bailar, quiero verte mover. cerquita de mí y me hacía falta, porque la última vez que vine tú no estabas, baby. Dime qué quieres, sin reproche, que solo a este lado de ese broche. Vamos al oscuro, hasta las 12. Ay, sí que tú me conoces. Suavecito, vamos hasta abajo. Tú tomas tequila, yo voy con rebajo. Pasamos bueno, te gusta el relajo. Y de ese billete yo cargo un fajo. Vamos a tomar toda la noche, mujer. Te invito a bailar hasta el amanecer. Tú quieres jugar y no quieres perder. Vamos a bailar, quiero verte mover lento, hasta que el sol junte nuestros cuerpos. Muy lento, más tarde vamos a enloquecer. Y si me dejas, tú serás mi mujer. Cuando se nota que me quieres comer, por eso sé que vamos a enloquecer. Es que se nota, nada se nota, enloquecer. Oh, 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 oh.
Hello, hi, hello everyone. Hello, 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 hi. All right, all right. Who do we got? Who do we got? Let's see who we got here in chat. Um, thank you, Fox Emblem. Thank you. I know everyone seems to like the new music, the playlist I'm doing here. Okay, guys, let's see here who we got. We got Alan. Hey, Alan, how you doing, Alan? Over on Twitch, how you doing? Glad to see you, Alan. Big Braden. Hey, Big Braden. Hey, how you doing, Big Braden? Yeah, neo-Nazism. We're talking about Charlie Kirk again. Well, kinda, a little, kind. You'll see. Rigatoni. Hello, Rigatoni. Who else? Who else? Who else we got here? I know Rigatoni, you got to work. Sorry about that. Good luck working for the your capitalist masters there. Demosthenes. Hello, Demosthenes. EQR Demosthenes is here. Alyssa, how dare you? My other music was great too. How dare you? Okay. No, okay, true. All right. AMA Gaming. Hello, AMA Gaming. Lee Lane. Hey, Lee Lane. Always glad to see Lee Lane. Love your comment on my recent video on YouTube. Thank you for that, Lee Lane. Marky. Hello, Marky. Welcome back, Marky. Let's see here. Who else we got here? Doug on the left. Hey, Doug's in the house. Hello, Doug. Okay. Debate about Chinese barbecue pork. Sounds delicious. Matt Saigai. Hey, Matt Saigai. Hello, Matt Saigai. Did you say your prayers today, Matt Saigai? Okay. Druzilla. Hey, Druzilla's here. Fantastic, Druzilla. Fox Emblem. Yeah, I know, right? Music's good, Fox Emblem. Hello, Fox Emblem. Glad to have Fox Emblem here. W. Hey, W. What's up? Yes, we're gonna, we're gonna be talking about Kash Patel's little showing in Congress, and his hearing yesterday was quite entertaining. So we'll watch. We're gonna watch some clips from that. Let's see here. Who else we got? You feel? Oh, Trump failed. Well, hello, Trump failed. Yeah, right. I kind of want some salsa and tequila too. It sounds amazing to me. Maybe I'll get that for dinner. That sounds very good. Um, uh, Big Braden. Oh yeah, I disavow that dumb Canadian guy who wanted Americana in new video. Big Braden, you can't do that. Only I can do that. Only I can disavow people. Okay. Matt Saiga, what do you mean? I never stop praying. It's okay, Matt Saiga. I was just messing with you. Uh, okay, guys. So, hello, welcome. We have some things to talk about. We are first going to talk about the birth of neo-Nazism, which is something I am particularly interested in because I studied it in grad school. And then we're going to watch some clips from Patel's showing in front of Congress yesterday, which is quite interesting. I think entertaining, in my opinion. Also, Alan told me that yesterday about Israel. The UN finally deemed what Israel is doing a genocide, so that's great news. I mean, not great news, but great news. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also there's some other stuff too we're going to talk about. Pam Bondi, the comments she made yesterday, and then if we have time, whatever, we'll do some Discord reaction. Matt Saigai, oh yeah, we could maybe do the Bernie video, Matt Saigai. We'll see if we have time there at the end. Okay. Yeah, Big Braden, we'll talk a little bit about the difference between the two. You're right. He did. Trump failed. He did get turned into a stir fry there. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So let's get into it. First, we're going to talk about the birth of neo-Nazism. Okay. And okay. So let me just put up the page. All right. So first of all, everyone, please look at this image here on the front page. Yes, David, that one, the one that Matt Saigai sent. I love this image. Okay, pitch in, put trash in its place. Okay, anyway. Okay, the birth of neo-Nazism. Now, let me say something. I studied this in grad school. I could not put everything I would want to say into this slideshow because there is so much. So it's kind of truncated. It's still a regular length. I'll try not to talk too much. Tell me to shut up if I do start talking too much about these things. Dolly Boy, hello, Dolly Boy. Okay. But I know a lot about this stuff, so and I find it super interesting. So it'll be a bit truncated. In the future, I will go into more of it, more stuff like over time. I'll do other streams about other parts of this. Okay, but for now, we're just talking about the birth of neo-Nazism and one man in particular named Francis Parker Yockey. And so let's talk about that. Okay, so let's begin. And for a reminder, everyone here. So again, if we, I forgot to mention this, if we get one super chat, just one, I'll put on the jester hat. If we get two more after that, I'll put on the jester collar. And if we get to 5, I'll put on the makeup. Okay, so it says 5, but if we get 1, it's the jester hat. 2, jester collar. 2 after that, jester collar, and then if we get 2 more after that, it'll be the makeup. Okay. Also, at the top of the page, if you want to support me, it'll also count towards the super chat number. Is buy me a coffee. You can go there and send me some cash if you'd like. And then you also can join our Discord, which I linked at the top of the page. I highly recommend it. A lot of great people there. We have a great community going there. And okay. Now let's get into the good stuff, okay? Let's get into the good stuff. All right. So, also, first of all, folks, I also posted a new video today with my father. So feel free to watch that if you'd like. Okay, so let's start. The birth of neo-Nazism. Now, all right. So I posted these in the resources page on Discord. These are 3 great books to learn more about what we're talking about, I'm not going to go too much into the first two this time around, but the third one is the main one we're going to be it's the same sort of topic we're going to be talking about. So, Nicholas Goodrick Clark is sort of the American, or is one of the biggest scholars on neo-Nazism. And then he wrote these two books. His most famous one is probably the first one. The second one is also very good. And then the last one here by Kevin Coogan is specifically about the guy we're going to be talking about today, Francis Parker Yockey, who he's an interesting character. Let's put it that way. Okay. So let's start talking about this. So before I begin, like I said, I studied this in grad school. I had to read a lot of documents and crap. Francis Parker Yockey is still largely a mystery. We know some about him. He was basically the catalyst, one of the catalysts of the birth of Nazism after World War II. Correct, bruh moment. Bruh moment. As you can see, right, I'm holding it right here. Okay, which we're going to talk about. Okay, and it's kind of horrifying that I even have that book, but I had to for research purposes. Yes, bro moment. Okay, welcome, bro moment. By the way, okay. So he's sort of mysterious figure. He was very clandestine. Was kind of clever in his ability to escape scrutiny in a lot of ways. Ultimately, he was not able to escape scrutiny, but a lot of his life is still a mystery. Okay. Um, so I will try to get it. I'll try to tell you, and I've read a lot of documents and stuff about him. Again, it's still a mystery, though. We're still not 100% sure. We do know some things, okay? And like I said, he was a very interesting character, sort of one of the main people who birthed neo-Nazism, okay, and also spread it to the United States and elsewhere, okay? So let's get going. Let's start talking about him. All right, so Francis Parker Yockey, it's this guy on the right here. And I'm going to, so you can see his face. There you go. You can see it. He was a pretty handsome guy. I'm saying that because that's what the documents all say. To the point where at one point in his life, he was sort of a gigolo. Okay. He was accepting a lot of money from older women for sexual purposes. But anyway, that's him on the right there. Okay. Um, he was a lawyer, all right, a political thinker, and a very, 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 very big fascist sympathizer. He was born in 1917 in Chicago. Uh, he early in his life, okay. Hey, Meowzord, how you doing, Meowzord? Early in his life, he was attracted to Marxism. Um, but then over time, he gravitated towards Adolf Hitler and Nazism in the 1930s. Okay, so he became sort of a adherent to Nazism in the 1930s. And he actually joined pro-German and pro-fascist groups in the late 1930s. In 1938, in the United States, pro-German and pro-fascist groups, he wrote an essay called "The Tragedy of Youth," which was published in a very anti-Semitic journal um, that was distributed by Charles Coughlin, who, if you guys don't know, was a fascist Catholic priest who was Plant Sunshine. Hey, Plant Sunshine, how you doing? It was a fascist Catholic, right, Alan. Alan, it's actually quite common. Mussolini started off as a socialist. Hitler, well, not so much, but he was influenced a bit by socialism. It's complicated, Alan, but yeah, he made that switch over. So he so Charles Coughlin was this fascist Catholic priest who had a radio show in the United States during the 30s and who railed against Jews constantly and was very sympathetic to Hitler. And Francis Parker Yockey was a big fan. Yes, Alan, yes. Okay. For Mussolini, he was rejected. The socialists turned their back on him because he was pro-war. And that kind of radicalized him, I guess you could say. Francis Parker Yockey, we're not sure. We're not sure about Francis Parker Yockey. So anyway, okay. So now, so you know a little bit of his background. Yep, Joshua, you're right. Charles Coughlin ended up being censured by by the Catholic Church because he was so vitriolically anti-Semitic. That's for sure. Okay. All right. So during World War II, folks, Francis Parker Yockey, he enlisted in the U.S. Army. But while he was on a military base, he actually went AWOL so that he could assist German spies who were operating inside the United States. Now all of this stuff sounds crazy, folks. A lot of his life almost sounds like a spy thriller, like a dark spy thriller, because he was an odd guy. Okay, so he left the base to go assist some Nazis who were attempting to infiltrate the United States, some Germans, and he actually befriended a guy named Herbert Hans, um, and Herbert Hans was later executed. uh, yeah, Dolly Boy went full treason. Okay, Herbert Hans was later executed, along with several other Germans, for engaging in something called Operation Pastorius, where a Nazi U-boat dropped off a bunch of agents off the coast of Florida into the United States so that they could engage in espionage. You'll almost never hear about this in any history class, but it happened, and they were caught. Not they were caught pretty quickly, actually, and later they were executed, most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them were executed. And it is thought that Yockey helped them, but we don't have evidence of it. But it's pretty obvious if you look at the FBI documents and such that he did do this. But there's not really direct evidence, but it's pretty clear he did. Okay. Later, Yockey, on the right here, I know, right, Dally Boy? Because at the time they didn't know he had done it. They did not know he had done that at the time. We know now. The FBI had suspicions, but they didn't know while he was in the military. So if you look here on the right, the guy at the top, that is Herbert Hans, who was the sort of orchestrator of Operation Pastorius. And then on the bottom here are a bunch of the Nazis who were caught. I think all but two of them were executed. The only people executed by the United States side for espionage during the war. Okay. Anyway, so Francis Parker Yockey ended up being discharged from the military honorably because he had a mental break. All right. They say he became paranoid. I highly suspect from reading the documents that he was faking it, because he didn't want to fight against the Nazis because he liked them. There's no other evidence that he had any kind of severe mental health issue. Okay. I suspect he faked it and he got honorably discharged from the military. Okay. Um, when I was doing research, I got a big stack of FBI documents, and here's one of them, because there's a big stack of FBI documents about Francis Parker Yockey while they were tracing him and stuff. Here is one of the ones I had to look at. It might be kind of hard to see here, but this is the first time that he is sort of mentioned by the FBI. It says here, you can also see the black parts are parts that have been redacted for security purposes. I suspect if I were to get these again, they would undo those redactions. But the part of these redactions are the names of people who reported him. So it's not like they're trying to hide much; they're just trying to protect the people who reported him. Okay, it says here that advised the office that Francis Parker Yockey, an attorney employed in the rental department, the Office of Price Administration, Detroit, Michigan, has made statements that his interests lay with Germany rather than the United States. Yockey is alleged to have made remarks such as the following: "The United States has no business in the war. The war was started by the Jews, and Germany should have won the war." And then it goes on to describe him. This is the first document they have on him, so this sort of started tipping them off to his actions. Okay. Again, there was a stack of these, but here's just the first one. So you can see that it was 1945 when they finally started noticing that he might be an issue, which is why he wasn't removed from the military at the beginning. Okay. All right. So uh, so he briefly did a stint where he was. I'm going to try not to go too in depth here. I know way too much about this topic, so I'll try to avoid overdoing it. But he briefly did a stint working as a lawyer in Michigan. Didn't like it, and what ended up happening is in early 1946, Yockey found a job with the United States War Department in Wiesbaden, Germany, as a post-trial review attorney for the Nuremberg trials. Okay. Uh-oh. Right? If you're a Nazi and you're sympathetic to Germany, probably shouldn't be an attorney, post-trial review attorney for the Nuremberg trials, right? And he was. Evidence. So the evidence we have from the time suggests very highly. We cannot be sure of it. That he actually tried to help accused Nazi war criminals, including one particularly awful SS general named Otto Ohlendorf, by sharing top secret documents with German defense lawyers. So he was actively trying to undermine the investigations. Exactly, Fox Emblem. Bit of a big problem there. Okay. Yeah, isn't it, Josh? Pretty big, issue here. Okay. Yockey, eventually, though, he hated doing this, right? Because he did not want to work for the prosecution, and he ended up getting fired because they suspected he was helping the Nazis, and he eventually left Germany, um, and his wife, who he had brought with him, his wife and daughters, he had brought them with him to Germany. He just left them. Um, in 1947 and went into exile in Ireland. Okay. All right. We kind of have his background here. All right. So what does this matter? Okay. So while he was in Ireland, he established and also while he was in Germany, he established what can best be described as a spider web of contacts with some of the most despicable people on the planet. Okay. He established contacts with the German American Bund, which was the Nazi party in the United States at the time. The National German American Alliance was another Nazi party at the time. William Dudley Pelley's Silver Shirts, which was another American Nazi party at the time. For the people in the UK that are in chat, he also established links with Sir Oswald Mosley's Union movement, which was sort of the fascist movement in the UK. Um, he also established contact with a guy named Keith Thompson, who really liked him and was a Nazi American CEO and was a donor to the Republican Party, including one candidate that some of you may know, named Pat Buchanan. Okay, so that's more of a mainstream connection he had. Okay. He also established a connection with a guy named Gerald Smith, who was an influential Christian nationalist and who was very influential in the modern day Christian nationalist movement in the United States and elsewhere. And lastly, he established a contact with a guy named James A. Madell, who had a party called the National Renaissance Party, and he kind of advocated for like esoteric occultist neo-Nazism. Okay. He also established more people. That's not an exhaustive list, but he created this sort of web of contacts clandestinely with people, and he started communicating. Exactly, Dolly Boy. He had his finger in all the plates. All the plates. Alan just told me here in Twitch that I guess the Fed just cut interest rates. Okay, we'll see how it goes then, Alan. We'll see where it goes. So he established all these connections while he was in Ireland. Now, so what was Yockey's view of the world? Okay. Yockey, in 1948, so a year after he moved to Ireland, he wrote a book called Imperium. I have it right here next to me. I'll show it to you. Okay. I had to get a copy of it for my research. All right. I did not pay for it. Don't worry. I tricked the publisher, which is basically a Nazi publisher, to send it to me for free. So I was able to get it without paying anything. So, but if you look on the Meowsard, yeah, oh no, yeah, don't worry. Because I was an academic, the FBI wouldn't care. Okay, so let me show you here. I wanted to show you some parts here. Hello, Long Beach Dragon. So if you notice on this page, look at the symbol. Look at the symbol they have posted there. Okay, it's a black sun. Thank you, Joshua. Yeah, you can see here it's a black sun, which is a neo-Nazi symbol. Also, it says here on this page, I don't know if you can see what it says here. It says, "To the hero of the Second World War." Who do we think that is? Who do we think the hero of the Second World War is in Yockey's estimation? I'm sure we can guess. I'm sure we can guess. I'll let someone say it, so I don't have to say it, but I think we all know. Yep, Mustache Man. Yep, correct. Mithril, published by Invictus Books, which is a Nazi organization. Um, I basically had to send them an email. I tried to use language that implied that I might be on their side without actually saying it. And I actually got advice from professors on this so that I wouldn't get like the FBI wouldn't get involved. But they sent it to me thinking I was, doing education on their behalf. Okay. But anyway, so yep, Adolf Hitler. So basically who he means by that is Adolf Hitler. Okay. You can see here, it's a very big book. No, it's not illegal at all, Alan. You can actually get it in libraries. But I wanted a copy I could, write all over and things like that. So, okay, right, Dally Boy. So, and folks, I have some weird books in my house. Okay, actually, you can imagine. I also have a bunch of FBI documents related to Francis Parker Yockey. So it's weird. Yeah, okay, but all right, so. What did he say in this book? Okay, Imperium. Uh, Now, before I mention this, okay, I'm going to point something out here. There have been historians who have described his book as the inane ramblings of a madman. Okay, it kind of is. It's very incoherent. It's just kind of like it's bizarre, okay? There is a sort of a general trend you can get when reading this thing, and this is what it is. So Yockey in this book, he identifies what he called 8 high cultures. So, like, cultural groups in the world. Um, yep, for a moment, you can find it anywhere. You can find it in a lot of places. I think you can actually find the whole thing online, really. Um, but Yeah, right, Dally Boy. It's not that surprising. It's incoherent. So he said there are these 8 high cultures in the world, um, which he saw. And okay, again, folks, if this doesn't make sense, it's not really supposed to. Okay, it's kind of Nazi ramblings. And he identified these high cultures as um, a mithril. It kind of is like the empire, though. So anyway, okay, these high cultures as spiritual superorganisms. So he viewed culture as like a separate entity from people, and then that culture impresses humans into their service. Okay. So the culture he loved the most was the European culture. Shocking, right? And he thought that people would kind of get integrated, would basically force people into it. Uh, and add them into the superorganism like organs in a body, okay? Yeah, okay, I know. I know it's kinda weird. Um, it's kinda weird. No, bro, moment, you're not wrong. Mein Kampf is also pretty incoherent in a lot of ways. Alright. So he argued that these superorganism cultures, um, uh, uh right, Big Braden, shocking. He didn't know what he was talking about. Also, by the way, folks, there's another book out there by a man named Oswald Spengler, and Yockey basically plagiarized him. Okay, even though Oswald Spengler, even though he was kind of a loon too, at least was coherent. Yockey kind of plagiarized him and add some shit. But anyway, um, so he argued that these cultures have their own souls, okay, their own souls, which determine their religious expression, science, art forms, politics, and morality through succeeding life phases of birth, growth, maturity, fulfillment of destiny, and death. They are mithril. I've read a lot of them. They're really bizarre. The the Safi, I can't ever pronounce that word. Yes, very bizarre. Okay, so he thought these cultures were like superorganisms that had a life cycle, and they could collapse quicker if they got infected by different things. I'm sure you can guess what he thought about that. All right, let's go on. All right, I just bear with me here. Okay. Um, okay. So that's exact, bro. Moment, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Okay. So this actually goes to what I'm going to say now. Let's talk a little more about his ideology. He wrote. So Yockey ended up writing that the Western high culture was threatened by what he called cultural pathology. All right, including and he included 3 things in that, okay? Cultural parasitism, cultural retardation, and cultural distortion. I'm not gonna hey, Luke, rabble, 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 rabble. I'm not gonna go into what each of these mean, but okay. Um, he alleged that one of the biggest cultural pathologies were Jews. Shocking, right? Wow, wow. Geez, come up with a new scapegoat. God, okay. Were the most and that he alleged that the Jews were the most harmful to the West because he saw them as aggravating its organic culture crisis. All right, that they were undermining this. They were kind of like an infection. This is how he phrased it in the body of the cultural organism of Europe and America. Okay, and okay, I know, right, Joshua? He kind of invented that part too. Okay, absolutely, David. David says assimilation, and I will say, folks, it is like it's simply not true for him to say that because Jewish folks are almost, are assimilated in most places, right? Anyway, I shouldn't even address his argument, but he viewed it as like Jewish people are, infection, blah 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 blah, classic Nazi talking points, bunch of bullshit anti-Semitism. Okay. You're right, Big Braden. It really is genuinely impresses how everything is the fault of the Jews according to the Nazis. Like, remember how I told you before, folks, that the number of Jews in Germany during the Third Reich was less than 1%. Less than 1%. And all the problems of the country were thrown into that category. Okay. You're right, David, you're right. Yeah. Outside of the Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn, yeah, there are some Jews who sort of maintain their own cultural community. But I'm sure you know, David, there are lots of cultures that do that, who will sometimes maintain a sort of cultural separateness from their society. But, yeah, okay, alright. He wrote that America was more susceptible so he hated America, folks. He hated America. He wrote that America was more susceptible to cultural distortion than any other Western nation, because he argued, America as a colonial offshoot of Western culture was founded on an idea of rationalism and materialism, and therefore it lacked the spiritual depth of Europe. And he didn't mean spiritual depth like Christianity. He meant like this sense of a cultural superiority and things like that. Okay. Uh he thought that America was the worst at this because of how diverse of a society it was that was accepting of immigrants and things like that. Big Braden says he even used it as a reason to dislike communism because Russia had a Jewish population. Yeah, yep. Everything was the fault of the Jews, according to Hitler, right? They were the capitalists, they were the communists, they were everything. Okay. Yeah, David, you are absolutely right. Okay. You're outsmarting me here, David, but you're right. A faux Nietzschean argument. Okay. He was actually a bit influenced by Nietzsche's. You're absolutely right. The weird amorphous blob. You folks, wow, I'm glad some of you know stuff about this. Spangler and his consequences have been a disaster. Okay. Right, Luke? Oh, if only he had known of American obsessionism. Fox Emblem? Oh, Fox Emblem, you're stealing my thunder here. There have been researchers who link Nick Fuentes' ideology to some of Yockey's influence. Okay, and maybe not directly, but certainly indirectly. Okay, so yep, Joshua. Okay, so that was his sort of general thought. It gets weirder, folks. It gets weirder. Now, for those of you who are leftists in the chat, I think you've heard of the Brown Red Alliance. Okay, he started this idea. A lot of future neo-Nazis did not agree with this, but he concluded the following. He hated the United States so much in their occupation of Europe. Oh, David, oh, don't even get me started, David. I know, me too, me too. Okay. So Yockey concluded that the Soviet Union and fascists should work together to liberate Europe from American cultural pathology. Okay. So he thought that the fascists should ally with the communists at the very least to get America out of Europe because the cultural pathology of America was ruining the superorganism of Western European culture, of European culture. Okay. I know it's weird. I know it's weird. So he advocated for a brown red alliance of communists and fascists to accomplish this together. Um, uh, yeah. Um, Yeah, okay. He yep, you're right, David. Absolutely not a fascist. He would have hated fascists, David. I'm sure you know this because they were too Nietzsche, I mean, would have hated fascist because they're too lockstep, too obedient, and things like that. But yeah, okay. So weird shit. Yockey believed. Lastly, here, right? Okay. Uh, okay. You're right. Black Red Alliance. Some people do call it a Black Red Alliance. At this time, they called it a Brown Red Alliance because the brown shirts were brown shirts. But yeah, okay. So his ideas, by the way, have influenced a lot of the weirdos here today. Okay. Including Matt Saigai, possibly some folks in India. I'm not even joking. So his ideas have influenced various far-right activists worldwide, including supporters of a Eurasian racial imperium in Europe and Russia. At one time on stream, I talked about that guy in Russia who promotes a Russia dominating Europe and the Asian subcontinent. That guy was inspired by him, by Francis Parker Yockey. There's some European fascists who are inspired by him. Most of them are anti-communist now, but they do have this idea of like a Eurasian racial imperium where Europe kind of allies itself and has a racist imperium, okay, over the whole Asian subcontinent. Um, okay, so all right, let's go on here. Not only Luke, oh my God, you guys are smart. Luke, he met with George Lincoln Rockwell. George Lincoln Rockwell ended up not liking him very much because Lincoln Rockwell thought he was too anti-American, but Rockwell was sort of um, uh, just to confirm, uh, I just yeah, but they did interact. Okay, okay, okay. Matt's like, I'll admit that wording was weird, Sam. Just to confirm everyone in chat, I'm not a Oh, no, no, we don't think you're a fascist, Matt's like, I was saying your comment about I've seen the fascist and communist alliance to overthrow governments in India. Yeah, his ideas spread far and wide. I suspect that might have been a slight influence there too. Um, Thank you, Mithril Dugan. Alexander Dugan was heavily influenced by Yockey. Okay. Okay. Now, folks, before I tell you what I'm about to tell you, let me be clear about something. All right. Anti Semitism does not equate to being anti what Israel is doing. You all know this. That being said, there are cases where it overlaps. That is just factual. Okay. We're going to talk about an incident where it does overlap. All right. But we should get away from generalizing about that, though. Okay. Um, Occasionally, it does actually overlap, where people are anti-Israel and anti-Zionist because they're anti-Semitic. You can see here that this is an example of that. All right. So not only we also so Yockey traveled around a bunch. A lot of that time we don't have documents of, but we do have documents of one place he visited. Okay. He actually went to Egypt and he visited President Abdel Nasser. Okay. Um, who he called a great and vigorous man. Um, he actually briefly worked for the Egyptian Information Ministry writing anti-Zionist propaganda for them, okay? It wasn't because he had a moral complaint about Zionism. It was because he hated Jewish people, okay? Shocking, right? In the Arab world, he also made contact. So when he was in Egypt, he made contact with Otto Ernst Remmer, who was a Nazi criminal who had escaped justice. Um, right, Meowzord, okay, who was a Nazi criminal who had escaped justice in Europe after being engaged in a bunch of crimes, and who had become Nasser's advisor. And Ernst Remmer was actually Nasser's advisor on like torture and military matters. Ugh, and he was a former Nazi. Okay. He also met and had very deep conversations with Johann von Leers, who was another Nazi criminal who had fled Europe. First went to Argentina, was actually involved with Peron a little bit, and then went to Egypt and became the head of Nasser's information unit, because Nasser knew he had experience. Uh, and Nasser knew he had experience with propaganda, Yes, Smith, real correct. He was. He caused the Suez Crisis. Yeah. Okay. So met with some pretty awful people. In Egypt, okay? Yockey reportedly tried to persuade Nasser, by the way, to finance the development of a cobalt bomb by ex-Nazi scientists, okay? I know this all sounds crazy, but it's true. Um, yeah, weird amorphous blob. I completely agree with you. Alas, he hated America so much he had no problem trying to form an alliance with the Soviet Union. It seems rather weird that neo-Nazism would favor London. Hey, London, how you doing, London? It seems rather weird that neo-Nazism would favor an alliance with communists because a major push of Nazi ideology was pushing to colonize East and crush communism. I guess it's post-Stalinism. Correct, correct. Okay. Yeah. All right. What did Pizza here say? Pizza. Oh my God, guys! South Korea, welcome Pizza, is investigating ICE, and some guy rammed his car into the gate at the FBI headquarters in Pittsburgh. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll take a look at that in a second. I'll finish this up, and we'll go over and look at that. Okay. All right. So Yockey had a fucked up life. Okay, if you couldn't tell from what I'm saying here, and a lot of what we know about him, we don't know. We don't know a lot about him. Okay. Uh. Okay. All right. So let's sample some of the American neo-Nazis who were deeply influenced by Francis Parker Yockey, who, by the way, in a lot of neo-Nazi circles today, he is still like a revered figure. This book right here is a classic one in the libraries of neo-Nazis, which makes it sound like I might be a neo-Nazi because I have it, but you see what I mean. So let's talk about some of the people who we know for a fact were majorly influenced by him. David Lane. Anyone know who David Lane is? Anyone know what the order is? Okay. Uh, David Lane was a terrorist who formed a far right wing neo Nazi terrorist group called the Order and engaged in terrorism. He was an adherent of Yockey's. Um, there's actually a movie. It's up here on the right about him called The Order. It's really good. Okay, it's a good movie, Meowsword. It's pretty accurate too. So David Lane, the terrorist who was ended up being caught by the FBI and such, was one of these people majorly influenced by him. Okay. William Luther Pierce. Who here has heard of the Turner Diaries? I'm actually going to put it in chat. I'm going to ask you all a question. Have you heard of the Turner Diaries? Uh, okay. Also, let me quickly check. I haven't been checking to see if I got super chats here. I have not. Okay, perfect. All right. So, again, folks, if we get one super chat, I'll put on the jester hat. Okay, most of you haven't. I'm kind of glad to hear that, actually. I'm kind of glad to hear that. Most of you, if we get one super chat, I'll put on the jester hat. If we get 3, I'll put on the jester collar. If we get 5, I'll put on the makeup. You can also send me something on Buy Me a Coffee, which is linked at the top of the chat, or join our Discord, which is also linked at the top of the chat. Ooh, looks like, okay, it's about half and half right now. People who have heard of uh, the Turner Diaries. Okay. It's probably best you haven't heard about them, but they've been massively influential in a lot of terrorist attacks in the United States. About 50-50. Okay, excellent. So, also, folks, please like the stream if you haven't already. It'll help get more people in here. All right. So, he heavily influenced a guy named William Luther Pierce, this lunatic on the left, this guy right here. Yeah, okay. He's the writer of a book called The Turner Diaries, which is a quote unquote novel about a bunch of white nationalist Nazis who instigate a race war and then use that opportunity to cleanse, that's the word they use, the country of people who aren't white, and create an ethno state, a pure ethno state in the United States. And this book has inspired multiple generations of far right white supremacist terrorists. Okay, and he wrote this book, and by the way, William Luther Pierce was one of the early advocates of white genocide theory, which is the idea that as more and more people of color move into the country, they're slowly outpopulating the white people, and since white people aren't having babies, it's kind of a genocide. What does that sound like? For folks who, what other theory that is mainstream today does that sound like? Thank you, Mithril. Thank you very much. I'll put on the hat. Okay, folks, we got our first super chat. It does, weird amorphous blob. It does contain correct, bruh moment, correct. It is called the Great Replacement Theory. And exactly. And so thank you, Mithril, for that. Yes, and you're right, weird amorphous blob. The book does contain very detailed descriptions about how to make bombs and stuff. And then it's kind of hidden under the idea that it is a novel. Okay. Yeah, he does, Joshua. Okay. So this was an early forerunner of the Great Replacement Theory. So, folks, you may hear that the Great Replacement Theory was. Thank you, Pizza, for the super chat. Thank you very much. I like the hippos. Okay, thank you. We will. I will count that as the second one. So if we get one more, I'll put on the collar. Thank you. Uh, you may think that the Great Replacement Theory was developed in France by a different author, which is partially true. The name Great Replacement Theory comes from a French author who developed basically the same kind of theory. It is thought that that French author was inspired by the Turner Diaries, but at this time it was called the White Genocide theory. And only later, after that French book was published in around 2001, did it start to be called the Great Replacement Theory. And at that point, it suddenly became normalized, and now it is a mainstream idea, even though it literally started off as a very, very far-right terrorist belief in the United States, partially because of Francis Parker Yockey and William Pierce. Kind of disturbing, all right? So that is that. Okay. Also, if you want to watch, this is actually a thumbnail from a YouTube video. You can look up a neo-Nazis how-to guide. This guy, what's his name? I'll put down. I don't remember what his name is. Does a great video on it. If you do watch it, mention that I told you to go there in the chat so I can build connections with these other folks if you don't mind. Okay. But he talks about it. Does a really good job. Okay. All right. So another person that was inspired by the Turner Diaries and Francis Parker Yockey was Timothy McVeigh. Timothy McVeigh. Some of the younger people here might not know who that is. Hey, Victoria. Hello, Victoria. Okay. Um, I know, right, Macon? Okay. Timothy McVeigh was inspired by the Turner Diaries and Yockey and Pierce. Okay. And he was the one who did the Oklahoma City bombing, correct, bruh moment, which killed a bunch of children, a bunch of people, and in one of the worst terrorist attacks in the United States before 9/11. And he was a far right-wing Christian terrorist. Of course, of course, of course, no one ever said that at the time. Of course, when Muslims do it, it is, it's far right, it's radical Islamic terrorism. But when he did this, no one said it was but this was a right-wing Christian terrorist. Of course, they never said it at the time. Anyway, so he was responsible for this bombing. He was inspired by Yockey. Okay. Um. They praise Bush. That's insane. Weird amorphous blob. Okay, that Mithril, that sounds great. Luke, Robert J. Matthews was the leader of the order. He died in Whidbey Island near my town in Washington in a standoff with the FBI. Correct, he did. And there's a great book. Did I say that wrong? I know Lane was also. I thought he was the head of it, but I could be wrong. But yes, Luke, yeah, you're right. He died in a standoff with the FBI. Matt Guy, I heard someone mention the Great Replacement Theory this morning on LBC Radio while talking about immigrants in the UK. So there's that. Oh, that's terrifying. That's terrifying, Matt Guy. Okay. Yeah, the Michigan militias too, also deeply influenced. Okay. Okay. So who else was influenced by Yockey? This guy. Americans will definitely know who this is. At least maybe you won't. David Duke. David Duke, the monster himself, who was an American politician, neo-Nazi conspiracy theorist, and a former Grand Wizard of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Yeehaw! Right? Love it. Okay. So don't you dare put that in the quotes, okay, of our channel here, okay? Yep, okay. Who ran for office many times and lost many times. He was deeply inspired by Francis Parker Yockey, William Pierce, and a lot of those other folks. That's okay, Alyssa. A lot of folks don't. He was a very influential and powerful member of the Ku Klux Klan who attempted to normalize his positions to get elected to office, and he failed multiple times. Yeah, he does look like a plantation owner, doesn't he? Yeah, I totally agree. God, I wish John Brown was still around. I would leave them in a room together and see what would happen to David Duke. Um, yeah, the don't you love the bright, shiny Confederate flag behind him? Also, I swear he's gotten some work done on his face because he's older now, but he still looks this way. I feel like he's gotten some plastic surgery because, the master race can't appear old. So I'm sure he, even though he's probably falling apart, um, yeah, Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Yeehaw, folks. Okay. Also influential. 'Kay. Yeah. Right. Okay. I know, right? Isn't it funny, Braden? You're right. The titles that the Ku Klux Klan use, Grand Wizard or Great Wizard, Grand Wizard of the. It's like they're all LARPing or they're all like D&D characters. I just find it hilarious. And by the way, no shade to D&D, love D&D, but like it's like we're the Grand Wizards, we're the Special Dragon or whatever. Like I have all these strange titles. Yep, he did almost win the Louisiana governorship. Okay, did the KKK take their uniform from the order? As that's who I thought the chap. Okay, Louise, great question. That was David Lane with a member of the Ku Klux Klan. They didn't actually take it from them, but the order was associated with the Ku Klux Klan. All these groups kind of have all these associations and things like that. You're right. Um, um, uh, Meowzord, we don't really know. To be honest with you, Meowzord asked, "Doesn't KKK stand for anything, or is it gibberish?" We're not sure. There are conflicting historical accounts of what it means. There's one theory that it's the sound of a gun being clicked, like Ku Klux Klan. There's another one that says it's some Greek thing. We don't really know. There are debates about it. Yes, you're right, Doug, on the left. David Duke did endorse Donald Trump. Okay. And then Donald Trump was hesitant to what's the term, denounce that. He eventually did, but he was very hesitant to begin with, which is kind of disturbing. Long Beach Dragon, wouldn't it be the other way around that D&D was modeled after the KKK since the KKK existed first? That's a fair point. That's a good point, Long Beach Dragon. Okay. Yep, exactly, Meowzord. David Duke, stand back and stand by. Yeah, that's kind of the kind of shit that Trump would do. And like we've already said, folks, a lot of the ideas on from these people have become mainstream. That's one of the reasons I got so interested in fascism was I started noticing all these things creeping into mainstream, including the Great Replacement theory, et cetera. Okay, here, so ultimately, folks, there's so much more I could talk about, and in future streams, I will go more into American neo-Nazism and esoteric Nazism, things like that. But for now, I will conclude this presentation by telling you that Yockey eventually was arrested after sneaking back into the United States. He was arrested in 1960, and then he unalived himself in jail with a cyanide capsule pretty soon after that. Good riddance. This is an image of him that was published in the newspaper after he was arrested. Um, and he ended up being, I ended up getting him captured, etc. But he's still a very mysterious figure, and but very important for understanding modern day Nazism, fascism in the United States and elsewhere, including the UK, Russia, places like that. Okay, kind of right. Um, yep, absolutely, pizza. I forgot. Did Nazi Germany also take inspiration from slave owners and KKK members? Not KKK. Yes. So I will say Hitler wasn't a big fan of the KKK because he viewed them as like a bunch of inbred hicks. Yeah. They but Hitler, he didn't like the United States, but the one part of the United States he loved was the good old South. Okay, he loved the South. God, go love the South. Okay, loved it. Loved the South. He loved the racial laws they had there. As a matter of fact, the Nazis literally directly copied some of the South's racial laws, especially the ones that were on euthanasia and things like that. Just copied them over and pasted them into Nazi books. He also liked the Wild West because he viewed Germany's eastern frontier as sort of Germany's Wild West, and he viewed the Slavs living there as Native Americans to be conquered and colonized by the Germans. Yeah. Uh, what I read was Hitler liked the Confederacy. There you go, Big Brain. You said it better than I could. He did. He loved the Confederacy and he liked Native American oppression. Okay. Um, yeah, I know, right? Weird amorphous blob. They're all goddamn cowards, right? Why do fascists always commit unalive themselves when they get captured? It's like, come on, stand up for what you believe, Snowflake. Face justice. Okay. All right. Okay. I know he was a Dally Boy. I will say though, Dally Boy, he snuck back in a couple times successfully. He snuck back in. He went to L.A. To meet some far right wing people at one point. I haven't told you the whole story here, but he did. He was actually pretty good at evading the law. He just happened to make a big mistake that one time. Uh, Political Pain. Hey, thank you, Political Pain. Welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Love how my Fox Emblem. Love how my ancestors had to deal with Hitler and American white supremacy. Yep. Don't we all love that, Fox Emblem? You know, it's very possible, Fox Emblem, that some of my ancestors did that. Were some of the ones doing the white supremacy. To be honest with you, I had a grandfather who apparently lived in Indiana and who later told us, great grandfather, later told us he was in the Ku Klux Klan for a little bit and gave all sorts of excuses for it. I don't excuse him for it. It's very possible. Okay. Uh, uh, Big Brain, unironically, think Hitler killed himself because to him it was less painful than admitting he lost. Oh, almost certainly, Big Braden. He was a coward. He he couldn't stomach the idea of being a loser because he was a loser. Okay. AG, since we're on the topic, I suggest looking up Scott. Welcome, AG. Scott Payne talking about the base. Scott Payne, you're speaking my language. I will do a stream on that sometime. The base. It is a very interesting group. Disturbing, but yes. Okay. Fox Emblem, I descend from Czech and indigenous Americans. Family got subsumed into the white monoculture, sadly. Hey, Fox Emblem, I have some Cherokee in me, so I'm the same way. Yeah, he was also afraid, Big Brain, that he'd be humiliated by the Soviets, and I kind of wish he had been. I wish they would have dragged him through the streets. But yeah, okay. Meowzord. Fox, my MAGA dad texted me and was telling me some sob story about how during World II, my German ancestors had to flee Germany. Oh, those poor people. Yeah, okay. All right. So that is our presentation for today. Just a little bit about Francis Parker Yockey, the post-war fascist international. And I could talk a lot more about this, but if I don't stop now, I never will. Well, we'll do other streams in the future where I give more information about how this played out in the United States and also the UK. All right. Let me go back to my face here. All right, guys. All right. So, folks, if we get one more super chat, one more super chat, I'll put on the caller. If we get two more after that, I'll put on the jester makeup. Also, like the stream, please, if you haven't already. And if you like what you see here, you can become a member. Political Pain, God knows. There is a lot of internationalist leftist organizations. That's one of the fundamental aspects of leftism is that it's internationalist. But they've been deeply weakened, and they're not that strong anymore. So Political Pain, you're right. The Nazis, a lot of fascists actually kind of copied left-wing political movements in their attempt to go international. But a lot of those leftist organizations are pretty weak right now and need to be stronger. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So, all right. So let me see here. Big Braden. Yeah, what I read was that Hitler heard what happened to Italy and Mussolini. Exactly, Big Braden, because he was a coward, you know. Okay. He didn't want what happened to Mussolini. By the way, folks, there's a series on the TV you can watch. It's called Mussolini, Son of the Century. I've been watching it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I recommend it. You can actually find it for free on YouTube. Someone illicitly uploaded it on YouTube. You can find it for free there. Of course, I don't promote that. I'm just saying. It's an Italian-made movie. It has Italian subtitles, but I do recommend it. Yeah, on the TV, I should say, on a streaming service. Okay, you can also find it on Mubi. You can do like a free 7-day trial and watch it. It is pretty good. I've started watching it. It captures a lot of the parts of fascism. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. Yeah, it's really good, right, Victoria? Thank you for supporting me. Yeah, Scheinbaum is the shit. Political Pain. I love Claudia Scheinbaum. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So, King Alo, says, "This is a funny random story, but when I was like 6 or 7, I knew my dad's side was German and knew he fought in World War II, but obviously knew nothing about the history being so young. So one of my teachers that my grandpa so I told one of my teachers that my grandpa fought for Germany, laughing my ass off. He actually fought for America." Whoops, Alan. Okay, yeah, industrial workers of the world, correct, Luke, but a lot of those organizations are pretty weak now. Matt Saigai, I see your recommendation. Okay, I see your recommendation. Thank you. Okay. All right. Uh, so, okay, guys. Yeah, it'd be good if we got union recommendation. You should all join your unions. One of these days, I'm going to have a union rep come into the stream to talk about how you can, uh, right, London, right. Right, we would never condone pirating anything at all. Oh, those poor, poor capitalists. I would never do that. Never do that. That would be illegal for me to promote something illegal. That being said, unfortunately, you can find it on YouTube for free. It's a real shame. It's a real shame for those poor capitalists. If you were to look it up, Mussolini, Sin of a Century, episode 1. Okay. Uh, I have not, Marky. That looks interesting. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, David, to hear that your ancestors got out of Germany before all that happened, really. Um, uh, okay, okay, you're right, I would not steal a car, Luke, nor would I engage in pirating, Luke. That is not something I do. Okay. Anyway, uh, right, big brain. Yeah, I would not steal a car, big brain, I would not. Um, but like I said, you can find it on Mubi. You can get a free if you want, like, one of those, trials, you can get a trial there. Um, yeah, okay. You can get a trial, and you can get it for free on Mubi and with a free trial. But you can also buy membership if you want to. But I did. It is also someone uploaded it on YouTube anyway, which is a real shame. Okay. Okay. Um. Yeah, right. Big brain. Okay. Um. Okay. Inglorious Bastards watch along party. I would love to do that. Alyssa, thank you. Alyssa just gifted a bunch of thank you, Alyssa, 5 gift memberships. Alyssa, I think that so we got a bunch of people now who have been gifted memberships. Um can you hear me now? There we go. I don't know what happened. Okay. So I was saying is that I worship at Alyssa's feet. She is a god, she's a goddess. Okay. I love her to death. All right. Okay. I don't know what happened there. It was still green. I didn't hit anything. Okay. I just had to unplug it and plug it back in. Okay. Thank you, Alyssa. I will put on the jester collar for this. Now, folks who have memberships, you now have a cute little jester hat next to your name, and you can use the member only emojis. Okay. If we get 2 more folks, I'll put on the um Alyssa. You're amazing, Alyssa. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alyssa. A bunch more. You love the attention, Alyssa. Thank you, Alyssa. You're such an angel. Okay. Um, I mean, revolt. I'm not high. All right, guys. Thank you for gifting all those subscriptions, Alyssa. How kind of you. Okay. Folks, a lot of you just got gift subscriptions. Okay. Thank you, Alyssa, for that. Uh, I will do one more. Okay. Okay. Uh, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Thank you, Alyssa, for that. Okay, guys. So we got some other stuff to talk about. We're gonna watch some clips of what happened with Kash Patel yesterday. Uh, if we get one more super chat. Okay, yeah, that is like half the chat. I'm so sorry, Mr. Justins and Fox Emblem, but that's okay though. I mean, not. I mean, thank you, Alyssa, for that. Okay. Um, we will. By the way, folks, a membership is only 99 cents a month. It really. I don't want to sound like a filthy capitalist here. It's not much. It's like 99 cents a month. So if you want to join and become a member, Radon, thank you, Radon. Okay, well, I guess that means I got to put the makeup on now. Okay, okay, we'll do that. Thank you, Radon. No problem, Radon. Alyssa is rallying the proletariat. Yeah, Alyssa. London, you're in trouble. They're rallying against you. Okay. All right. So, folks, what we're gonna do now? We're gonna watch some clips about. Oh no, Alyssa. Oh goodness. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll put the makeup on while watching. Kash Patel. Okay. So, what we're gonna do, folks, is I'm gonna put up the video here. So Kash Patel, I think he's still doing it today. Was before a Senate Judiciary Committee or Senate Committee. Huzzah, Demosthenes! Okay. Thank you, Demosthenes. Thank you. Oh my God, all the stuff is coming in now. Thank you, Demosthenes. Okay, all right. So I will put on the makeup while we're listening to this. So give me a second here. So Kash Patel had a very Alyssa, you're amazing, and so are you, Demosthenes. I love all of you. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just taking this stuff off so I cannot get makeup all over it. So Kash Patel was in front of, was it the Senate? No, the House, a House committee yesterday getting questioned. Big Braden, you're right. No matter how much makeup I put on, Patel will still be the most clownish. Absolutely. Okay, so guys, let's start watching this. I am going to, okay. I'm going to put on the makeup while we're watching it. I know my hair's kind of crazy, but it matches. So let's watch this. This is Kash Patel being questioned by Adam Schiff, okay? I'm not the biggest fan of Adam Schiff. He's still kind of a corpo dem, but he is a brilliant prosecutor of like questions and things like that. Oh, me too, King Alo. I want to see Bernie go after him, okay? So let's see how this goes. And let me make sure the sound is ready here. Oh, give me a second. I need to actually, it looks like I need to add it. Okay. Nope. Give me a second, folks. For some reason, it disappeared on me. Oop. Okay, so again, this is Kash Patel. All right, so here we go. Let's go.
You also guaranteed Senator Blumenthal that every FBI employee will be held to the same, absolute same standard. No one will be terminated for case assignments. Are you testifying today that you never terminated anyone at the FBI, in whole or in part, because of a prior case assignment?
No one at the FBI is terminated for case assignments alone.
Well, I'm asking about you, Mr. Patel. Did you, in whole or in part, terminate anyone at the FBI because
sorry,
they were?
Folks, sorry, God, I am not competent today. Let me. I got to make sure you actually can see it, right? There we go. Okay, you could hear it though. So
Worked on the Trump investigation, or because they worked on January 6th?
No one at the FBI has been terminated for case assignments alone.
Okay, you're saying alone. Does that mean they were terminated in part because they were assigned to a January 6th case or assigned to the Mar-a-Lago case? You're being very precise here, Mr. Patel. You're saying alone. That means they were fired in part because they were assigned those cases. Is that your testimony?
Absolutely not. But if you want to keep putting words in my mouth,
then let me ask you.
I'm going to give you this designer bag
okay,
if
also,
you can prove
folks,
to me that you know your finances.
Well, let's do it.
How many subscriptions do you have?
Let's
be aware that Kash Patel is currently in the crosshairs, metaphorically, okay, because he really fucked up the dealing with God, I look like I'm in the Ku Klux Klan. Anyway, the dealing with of the FBI investigation into Crook shooting. So think about that and think about why he might be doing what you're about to see him do. It might have something to do with trying to get back in certain people's good graces. Okay.
strip away the word alone. Did you terminate or participate in any discipline of any FBI employee in whole or in part because of their work on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or no?
Any terminations at the FBI by employees.
No, I'm asking you a very specific
question. And I'm going to answer the question, but you don't like the answer because it's the truth and it guts
want an answer to my question. I don't want an answer to someone else's question. So let me just be precise, and I ask for a yes or no answer. Did you ever terminate or discipline an FBI employee in whole or in part because they had been assigned or worked on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
FBI
yes
employees are only terminated
yes
if
or no,
they fail
Mr.
to
Patel?
uphold their oaths of
yes
office
or no?
and duty.
You're not answering my question.
I don't have to answer your question yes or no because you're setting up a trap so you can have a media narrative.
I'm not setting up a trap.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Unless it's true that you fired people.
People have been terminated at the FBI who failed to uphold the standards that the FBI requires them to uphold.
Did you tell anyone at the FBI that all FBI employees who they identified who had worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
Say that I would remove people for case assignments?
That you would, that people that were identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs. Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
People are not removed for case assignments.
Just answer my question. Did you tell that to someone?
People are not removed for case assignments.
No, you're not answering my question.
And I would never tell anyone.
Did you tell someone at the FBI?
He is slippery, isn't he, Victoria?
That FBI employees identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Yes or no? Did you tell someone that?
I would never tell anyone at the FBI that they're being removed for basically their case assignments.
Okay, so anyone who had said that would be lying. Is that your testimony?
Anyone can say whatever they want.
No, I know, but you're saying they were a liar.
I'm telling you what I said.
Because this is in the complaint against you, Mr. Patel. So you're saying Mr. Driscoll and others are liars?
I'm not going to address the complaint in the ongoing
Okay, well then let me ask you, have you ever told anyone at the FBI that the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it, and that your job depended on the removal of agents who worked on cases against the president?
No.
Did you ever tell anyone that?
No.
So, folks,
Okay. Did you ever?
forgive me. I can't read the chats right now because I don't have my glasses on. I can see some of them. Yeah, they don't. He's not even answering, of course. He's dodging the questions, speaking legalese. I mean, of course he fired people because for political reasons. Of course. It's obvious. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, he's very blatantly lying.
Tell anyone that you knew these summary firings you were undertaking were illegal, likely illegal, and that you would be sued and later deposed? Do you ever tell anyone that?
No firings at the FBI or terminations were done for anything other than justified
Do you ever
cause.
tell anyone that, Mr. Patel? Why don't you
No
answer my question?
terminations at the FBI were ever done in my tenure for anything other than failing
Did you ever
to
tell
uphold
anyone
their
that,
oath of
Mr. Patel? You willing to
office
answer
or
the question?
The FBI.
I guess you're not willing to answer the
it.
question. So let me move on. Let me move on to the Epstein files. You said you're the most transparent FBI director in history, so I'm going to put you to the test. In 2024, you were asked by Glenn Beck about
Gross.
Epstein's Black Book. And you said, he asked, who has Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book? And you said, Black Book, FBI. And he said, but who? That is, I mean, there's, and you said, oh, that's under the direct control of the director of the FBI. That's what you said. Was that true, Mr. Patel?
I'll rely on you quoting it accurately. I did that a couple
Was
of
it
years
true
ago.
what you represented to Mr. Beck and the president's supporters out there, or were you lying? Was it true that the Black Book, Epstein's Black Book, was in the possession of the FBI director?
The Black Book was in the possession of the FBI.
Okay, so now that you're the FBI director, you have possession of the Black Book, right?
That index has been released.
So you have Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book?
What is known as Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book has been released by us.
And you released it. And let me follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because he asked you, and I'll be very precise here. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said himself. There's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said the answer is no one. And you said for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself. Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never said
lie.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't
Such a lie.
traffic anyone else.
An obvious lie.
Did he traffic any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question,
And I
Senator Kennedy's
said
question.
the information that 3 administrations have had access to
I'm
have
asking
made
you-
determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm specifically
I'm asking
stating
you whether
we
it's
were
your
working on.
testimony today.
Well, you just read it, and I said it
I'm-
10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my testimony.
I just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims like Virginia Guifer who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise, and you're telling the American people today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying, and
Well,
you can say whatever you
let
want.
me ask you this. When Todd Blanche went to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, she said, but did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there's no way that this cast of characters, of which it's extraordinary, and some are in your cabinet, who you value as your co-workers and you know would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors. A man wants sexual favors, he will find that. They didn't have to come to Epstein for that. And the next question Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense lawyer, asked is not who in the cabinet. Who are you referring to? His question is, so when's the last time you think you were with Mr. Epstein when he got a massage?
There we go.
So let me ask you.
Okay. So I'm going to pause this,
Who are
folks. So again, the absolute obvious lie here being that there's tons of witnesses, tons of victims who have talked about girls being basically given out to other people. So the fact that they're just covering it up, and that Kash Patel is so bad at covering up, he's just kind of it's funny. It's all right.
Those cabinet members that Ghislaine Maxwell was referring to, that
You're right, Meowsword. So Meowsword says, what's the point of these hearings if it doesn't have any consequences? It's basically just another Jubilee video. Meowsword, you're not wrong here. A lot of this is just political posturing. But I will say, it's interesting politically because you're going to see how Kash Patel ends up reacting here. And I think it really reveals how worried he is about his job. So you'll see what I mean here in a second.
part of this cast of characters associated with Mr. Epstein, who are they?
The Deputy Attorney General took the aggressive step that no one else did and interviewed Ms. Maxwell for 2 days, and we released the entirety of that transcript.
Who are the cabinet members?
I do not have that transcript in front of me. You're picking it piecemeal. The American public can read the entirety of that.
One last question, because you clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question. And that is, right after she gives this testimony, in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred to a minimum security prison not suitable for a sex offender like herself.
Yeah.
Who made that decision and why?
The Bureau of Prisons.
The Bureau of Decisions made it in
Prisons.
The Bureau of Prisons decided on their own,
he's getting mad.
without any consultation with Blanche or anyone else, that they were going to suddenly, after this interview, completely unrelated to this interview, completely unrelated to anything she said, move her to a prison not suitable for a sex offender. You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform.
Point of order.
But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done? You said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Both of you be quiet. Okay, I love that. Okay. So that's okay. So guys, I gotta see what you all are saying here. I suspect Kash Patel right now, MAGA is kind of on his back because of the Epstein files and because of his clear incompetence in dealing with the shooting of Charlie Kirk. Okay, and it's almost like he's posturing. There is something going on with my mic. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, okay, I didn't turn it off. I promise you. I didn't turn it off. I promise you. Okay, so yeah, it must be another squirrel, right? My luck these last few days has been horrific. Anyway, so we're gonna watch a brief. We do, London. We do. I like. It's weird though. Like, there's nothing wrong with the mic. I don't know if I am knocking something out of it, but nothing. Well, who knows? So what we're gonna do? We're gonna watch. We're gonna watch one more clip from this with Cory Booker, and Cory Booker also did a good job with Kash Patel here. But remember, folks, as I've said multiple times, when you have a fascist regime, competence doesn't matter, okay? What matters is loyalty. What matters is loyalty, okay? So if you you will put people, if you put people in, positions of power who aren't competent but are simply loyal, what's expect going to be happy? Okay, what do you think is going to happen? All right, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a bunch of nonsense. Is that true? Is that true, Alan? I actually haven't seen this one. I've seen the first one. Do we think that we don't necessarily have to watch the second one? Is it a good one, Alyssa? Okay, we'll watch it. Okay, then we'll watch it. Alyssa, thank you, Alyssa, for the super chat. Play Valenti vid about his text today. Absolutely, Alyssa. Since I accept bribes, so sure. Is that the one? Is it in reactions? I'm guessing. You're right though, Alan. You're right. In general, Cory Booker is very performative. Yeah, thank you, Alyssa, for that. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay. Joshua, 100%. Fascism eats itself, leading to an inevitable end. And when I did a stream on the 5 stages of fascism, fascism is self-destructive. It almost always ends in self-destruction. Okay, partially because of the incompetence of the people that are always there. Yeah, you're right. He's a drama queen, Long Beach Dragon. He puts on a very good public face, but he's still a corpo dem. He's still corrupt. He also tries to copy Barack Obama in a lot of his behaviors and things like that. Anyway, but okay, so let's watch this one. He is really good though at interviews and things. So let's watch this.
Mr. Patel, I want to start off where we left off last time. I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
Oh, Meowzord, I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you what Meowzord said here. So I love that line there. Meowzord says, Joshua, I read a random Reddit comment that said fascism is an insatiable machine that eats friend and foe from the bottom up. I thought it was apt. That is a great description. I might use that in the future, Meowzord, because it does. It's self-destructive. There was one famous historian who said that fascism could never last for long because in the end, the fascist would end up basically getting rid of everyone except for the leader, because you always have to have an enemy in fascism. So even if you destroy the first people you scapegoat, you're going to have to start scapegoating someone else and then someone else and then someone else. And eventually you're going to run out of people to scapegoat. So even if it were to last, which it doesn't, it would be completely self-destructive. So I love that line there.
See.
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving
Weird amorphous blob. Sorry, folks, I keep pausing here, but some great comments about fascism says, well, weird amorphous blob says, I mean, it did last pretty long in Spain. Like, I don't know how much longer it could have been without ETA's assassination of Carrero. So weird amorphous blob. Weirdly enough, most historians would agree that Franco's regime turned into an authoritarian regime and was no longer fascist after a while. Okay. The fascist party in Spain actually didn't get control. It was Franco initially was pretty fascist, and then over time he became an authoritarian, which is actually just an authoritarian, a non-fascist dictator authoritarian. So a lot of the historians who talk about fascism will say that fascism, at least Paxton says, that it can either end in collapse, radicalization and then collapse, or authoritarianism. In Spain, it ended in authoritarianism for a long time. Okay.
the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were
And I'm
confirmed.
assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, excuse me, you did testify before the grand jury
Yes,
that
Joshua.
President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
Sorry, folks. One last note here. Joshua says, so these times are only temporary and hopefully we'll end up rebuilding. Yes, Joshua. The problem here, Joshua, is that there will still be a ton of destruction in the meantime. Theoretically, right? In this, I'm just looking at the past. It doesn't mean it will happen this time, but yeah.
You know, that's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said
So true,
quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony.
Agreed, Luke.
So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. I understand
Kash
under
Patel
Rule 6 of
understands
the
the
Federal
law.
Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and
There is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you
Did
know
you
what,
did you?
how do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're
J-Mac.
making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a
So let
simple
me move on.
question. If you have
Mr.
a
Patel,
I fell into a vat of acid, Mac, like the Joker did.
during
can
your
read-
Oh, Trump failed. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, folks. Trump failed. I would love that. I'll talk with you about that at some point.
The question,
nomination
but you don't have
hearing,
it.
you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration. You explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump.
Me too, Mr. Justice.
I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees
that
based solely on the
people
cases
sitting next to him.
that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that.
London.
A new lawsuit that's been discussed numerous times, filed by 3 FBI officials, alleges that you carried out Donald Trump.
So I got to pause, folks, real fast. So, okay. Lovely. We got some trolls coming in here. This is great. So Michael Hall, getting to the truth, but I thought truth isn't truth according to the radical left-wing nutties. Hilarious, Michael Hall. As a matter of fact, one of the tenets of fascism, Michael Hall, for the sake of education here, is a German phrase, Die Welt ist meine Vorstellung, which means the world is however I view it to be. Truth doesn't matter for the far right wing. You got your facts kind of mixed up there, Michael Hall. And who else we got here? We got, Theodore. I am so sorry. You must be dealing with something. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Go get it looked at by a doctor. I know it's small, but that doesn't mean it can't be used correctly. Okay. Women will still love you. Okay. It's okay that it's small, but it's okay though. All right. So, I am going to, thank you, by the way, mods. You're doing a great job. Thank you, mods. Okay. Anyway, so that was dealt with. GL, welcome back, GLR. Okay. Fascism is when elites cannot profit any longer, and so they take control of the government to gaslight and steal from the populace. 100%. Okay. It is an attempt to stop the working class. So there are multiple theories on this, but yes. Okay. You're right. Right, J-Mac. Okay. Thank you, London and Long Beach Dragon. You guys are you're doing great. Okay. Okay. And oh my God, guys, I love fighting with the trolls when I'm dressed like a jester. It feels right. It feels right. I'm like wearing the uniform for the verbal combat. Okay. Anyway, Weird Amorphous Blob. Yeah. Oh, I know, right? Weird Amorphous Blob. It is about materialism, so it doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would bet that the title is attracting the lunatics. Okay, guys. So let's continue this.
Trump's campaign of retribution, in quotes,
so
against FBI employees for, quote, failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. One of those plaintiffs has been discussed today, Brian Driscoll. Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025. And in that letter, you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States. So I'm wondering, under what authority you were allowed to terminate him.
Booker is very slow.
That matters under litigation, and I'm not able to discuss it.
Okay, well, discuss this. Did you have discussions with Stephen Miller about firing this particular person or about his continuance in the FBI?
Not that I recall.
How often do you speak to Stephen Miller?
Frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Okay.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run
Stephen Miller, the devil incarnate, by the way. I'm an atheist, and I'm even saying that.
Your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay. Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that
It's conservative, but it's like a libertarian think tank, by the way.
20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
Tried to grab a snack, didn't go to plan, but hey,
Oh, goodness.
my bearskin hoodie is still warm. This thing is awesome.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's pretty
The
evil.
premise of what you say is
Have
entirely
there been
false.
any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't.
Though, folks, if I'm going to be fair, isn't Stephen Miller Jewish? So I doubt he's like a Nazi. But he definitely has some very fascist, let's put it that way.
You have to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America
that.
is
You're
safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have 6,000 weapons and 23,000 violent felons have
that
been
FBI
arrested.
agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Corrections Squad, reassigned. People who defend children, reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this. I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience. And we're working on cases that were critical.
Yeah, absolutely, Demosthenes. He is like a cross between Goebbels and Himmler.
You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it.
Yeah.
Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, you are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months...
I don't know if I'd praise the FBI that much. I don't know if I would, put it on a pedestal and praise it, but okay, I'll let it slide this time.
You have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to head the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate...
Look, the radical left threatening Kash Patel. Did you hear that? I don't think you're going to be around long. Look at the radical left here. Cory Booker, radical corporate left, pushing for violence.
Yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America. Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much...
I don't think God would touch that with a 50-foot pole.
Much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
it is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address your falsehoods.
Oh,
you are an
you can try all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take responsibility for what you have said.
Time.
Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
the
know
people
how far
of New Jersey
come
tell me what my time is.
Senator,
you can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the
I'm not going anywhere.
I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said, if that happened,
Jesus,
I can't
believe, is Grassley still alive? Like, he looks like a corpse up there. No offense to older people, but is he still alive? Like, this is gerontocracy going on here.
To respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond, and he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr.
So
Chairman, one point of
Go
order.
ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
He has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we have 300 human traffickers?
Why haven't you released the goddamn Epstein files then? If you care about child predators, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind if they keep talking about arresting child predators while they're protecting some of the worst child predators in the world ever.
Traffickers in jail. Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seen 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year? 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 700 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we're taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone? A failure of the FBI and my leadership. How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Before Senator Cruz, I kind of feel like a broken record today. All this interest in FBI
Well, if you kind of sound like one too there.
termination, yet my colleagues showed no intent or interest
Right,
in when my whistleblower suffered retaliation over the past years, particularly the past 4 years. Indeed, one whistleblower has alleged that Brian Driscoll's insubordination, whether an agent is on a hot button case or not, they ought to be held accountable for misconduct and weaponization. Senator Cruz.
Hey everyone, big heads up, Paleo Valley's running a sale on.
That happened yesterday. A little bit of a spicy going on there in Congress. Okay. We have a couple other things I just wanted to show you. Let's see here. So this is a TYT clip. I've actually seen it. So what I'm going to do, I got to use the restroom. And I'll go back to the other ones, and then I'll go to Discord here. I know this is TYT. I just thought they did a good segment on it that I saw. So a UN commission has officially ruled that Israel is committing a genocide. I mean, it took them goddamn long enough. I know it's not necessarily their fault that took them that long, but still, Israel is officially committing a genocide. If they weren't already, I mean, they obviously were already. Right, okay, after 2 years, right? But it's still, I suppose it's good news, right? At least they got their shit together over there. So we'll go ahead and watch this. I've seen it. I'm gonna just use the restroom while this is playing. Okay, I'll be right back. It won't mean much, Alyssa, because especially since the United States still has most of the power, so they will just do whatever they want. And not much, Alyssa, but it is still an important stepping stone, I suppose you could say. Okay. Right, Winterlinde. No wonder people don't take the UN seriously. Yeah, to be honest, folks, it's largely because the US has made it unfunctional. The US has, Russia has, China has, all the big powers just do whatever the hell they want. It doesn't really matter. You're right. It definitely has been happening for at least 2 years, the genocide there. But this is still, folks, somewhat good news in that at least it is now internationally official. We all know it's been going on, though. But okay, so let's put this on. Be right back, folks.
Through the night, Israel's air assault on Gaza City intensified still further as its ground forces readied to move in. By Israel's own estimates, as many as 650,000 Palestinians remain in the city. This morning, rescue efforts underway to recover survivors from new ruins. This block, home to dozens of people, hit at 1 a.m. Rescue workers find Mara al-Haddad trapped. Over 10 long hours, they work to free her leg.
Well, luckily they did free her leg, but she lost 2 of her friends as a result of that Israeli airstrike. And as Israel carries out its deadly ground offensive in Gaza City, forcing thousands of Palestinians to flee, the UN Commission investigating Israel's conduct in Gaza has declared that they are in fact committing a genocide against the Palestinian people. So there was the organization of genocide scholars who previously came out and declared that Israel was carrying out genocide. Now we have the UN Commission doing the same. And here's why, according to reporting from Channel 4 News in the UK.
Genocide, as defined in the Convention of 1948, is the crime committed with the specific intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial or religious group. The Commission says Israel has committed 4 such genocidal acts: killing members of the group through targeting civilians and the deliberate infliction of conditions of life that caused their deaths, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group through direct attacks against civilians, mistreatment of detainees, forced displacement and environmental destruction, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, including blocking essential aid, food, water, electricity and fuel, and finding that starvation had been used as a weapon, and imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group through the attack on Gaza's largest fertility clinic, reportedly destroying around 4,000 embryos.
So not only are pregnant women getting killed, not only are hospitals being destroyed, where it's nearly impossible for a woman, or actually is at this point impossible for a Palestinian woman to safely deliver a baby. The fertility clinic was targeted and destroyed by Israel.
Disgusting genocidal behavior. By the way, great job, Bonds. I don't know what that person said, but I kind of want to know now. But yes, thank you for that.
As well. Now, this commission had actually put out a report earlier that found Israel had committed war crimes against humanity. In fact, in March, for example, it accused Israel of targeting hospitals and other health facilities in genocidal acts intended to prevent births. But they didn't go as far as to accuse Israel of actually carrying out a full-blown genocide. Obviously, things have changed, and the latest report the commission put out says that Israel's actions in Gaza constituted genocide under the 1948 Genocide Convention, writing that Israeli authorities were aware of the high probability that their military operation—
Joshua, they said something about protecting Israel's sovereignty. How many countries has Israel bombed? How many countries have they violated the sovereignty of? Holy shit. Oh my God, that is almost comedically bad. Okay, anyway, sorry folks, we'll continue.
Their imposition of a total siege, including the blocking of humanitarian aid into Gaza and the destruction of housing and of health systems and facilities, would lead to the physical destruction of Palestinians in whole or in part in Gaza. Cenk.
Yeah, so they concluded that the actions of Israel were both expansive, significant damage done here, obviously to say the least, and deliberate. And that is important for a genocide. It was done intentionally. So among the overwhelming evidence that they had were targeting children. They were shocked at the number of head and chest shots for kids in Gaza. So that's snipers hitting them on purpose and killing children.
Young talking about bullet wounds in the heads of children. I mean, folks, the grotesque brutality here, utterly indefensible, disgusting. Lost my job over it. I can't eat. Well, I don't want to go into that, but
children. Okay. So number 2 was the utter destruction of almost all the facilities in Gaza. Almost all the hospitals have been destroyed. All the universities have been destroyed. Even when they're absolutely empty, IDF has complete control over them. They say, well, maybe Hamas might come back later at an undisclosed time. So here they're concluding, no, they're doing it to absolutely destroy and annihilate all of Gaza, as their leaders have said on the record.
Openly said. Folks, openly said. You all know this. I just got to remind everyone, like, they're open about it. It's not like it's hidden.
There's several cabinet ministers said, we are going for total annihilation. And then not only do you see them saying that, but then you see them doing it, right? All of the universities and educational things have been wiped out, fertility clinics wiped out, everything wiped out, right? So the only thing left now is the Israeli side. And so that's where it gets interesting. So the uninteresting part is Israel's claim is, oh, everybody's biased against us.
Yeah, this is fake. This is an anti-Semitic attack.
Of course, but we all knew that, right? And at this point, I'm not even bothered by it anymore. Now they
And it's gross, folks, and it's bad for Jewish people because the government of Israel is the one constantly conflating anti-Semitism with the genocide it's committing. Which implies that Jewish people are, to blame for it, which is not true, which is 100% not true. The government of Israel and Zionists are responsible for this. To be honest, not even all Zionists. But we're talking like some of the people that are the most outspoken critics of Israel are in fact Jewish. Okay, Norman Finkelstein, Noam Chomsky. There's lots of others.
Seem like a joke, right? Like a very sick, tragic joke, right? So, the facts are anti-Semitic. If you weren't anti-Semitic, you would let us kill more Palestinian children with sniper shots and destroy life as we know it in Gaza.
That is what they're communicating. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, and it's absurd. There's no point in debating it anymore. We're 2 years into a genocide. Everyone on planet Earth knows it's a genocide. The UN took forever to get there because of enormous political power that Israel has. You better not call it a genocide. You better not call it a genocide. Well, they did anyway, right? So now the question is, can Israel pull off completing a genocide with the whole world watching?
Yeah, it appears that is the case. That is the case because here in America, our government will aid and abet anything and everything the Israeli government wants to carry out, including genocide. And at the same time, we also unfortunately have, American citizens in this country who identify as, pro-Israeli Zionists, who will viciously go after anyone.
You got just be cautious when you do watch TYT. They do good reporting on things, but sometimes the commentary. Well, I think you all know. Who
has a conscience and speaks out against the unmitigated slaughter taking place in Gaza right now. They will intimidate them. They will go after their employers.
Thank you, Alyssa. We're paying for this, folks, especially if you're an American. No, not just Americans. We are paying for these weapons that are slaughtering children. Our tax dollars are being taken out of your paychecks to send to the government of Israel, which I think they're pretty sure they still have a budget surplus. Okay.
They will essentially make it appear as though anyone who sees what's happening for what it is, brutality, the butchering of children, the butchering of innocent people, those people get labeled as the bad guys. They get labeled as the bad guys. People get fired from their jobs as a result of this.
Yeah, so there's 3 entities basically left against the entire planet. Right, so the planet sees the genocide. Israel can do any kind of propaganda that they want, and they.
Sorry, folks, I missed some of the Twitch chats here. I had the wrong thing pulled up. He's like, I'm sorry, Alan. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm oppressing the trolls here. House Oversight wants to deplatform Twitch. Oh, that's horrific. Okay, great. Love to hear that. What else did I miss here? I would use the restroom. The U.S. has been Alan. The U.S. has placed. The U.S. has been placing sanctions on the Yep, they have. Yes, yep, they have. Okay. Thank you, Alan. More context too. A UN commissioner that served. Oh, I saw that interview, Alan. Served as a judge on the Tribunal for Rwanda. Said it reminds me of the Rwandan genocide. Yep. Okay. I didn't know they wanted to do okay. London, how is there any argument to be made about anti-Semitism is the same as anti-Semitism? I don't know. It's because it's a propaganda tactic that the government of Israel pulls. And like I said, folks, don't get me wrong. There are some people who are anti-Semitic, who are anti-Israel, but it's not a massive problem. Okay, the majority of people speaking up right now are anti-genocide, anti-Zionist. Okay. Breaks my heart, King. I know, right? Tucker Carlson, for example, or we just talked about Francis Parker Yockey, who is very anti-Semitic. But what we're talking about here is not the same thing. It is a minority. Okay, yeah, Nick Fuentes. Okay, absolutely. Okay, guys, we'll continue.
Often talk about, and in fact, later in the show, we're gonna have a story of the former head of the IDF saying, the lawyers we have never stop us from doing anything. The only thing that they ask for is that we follow some guidelines so they could do better marketing for what Israel's doing in Gaza, right? So there's not even an attempt at being legal here. It's all marketing, right? So that's why the rest of the planet, we all have eyes and ears and see what they've done. Now, the only 3 groups left on Israel's side is Israel's hard right wing, as some of the Israeli citizens are dead set against this, and tons of Israelis, authors, composers, actors, and the list goes on and on, are now speaking out and going, no, we have to end this genocide. This is sick. This is not what Israel should stand for. Okay, so you've got the hard right-wing government of Israel. You've got the hard right-wing bullies inside America and Western countries whose job is to betray the countries they're in and bully the citizens of those countries on behalf of a foreign government, Israel, right? So that's an obvious group. Then the second group is Western leaders, and the third group is Western media. So those are the only people left on Israel's side. The rest of the world agrees this is one of the worst genocides we've ever seen. It's not because Israel's doing it, that's the problem. It's a problem whether Israel is doing it or another country is doing it. So in modern world, can a country, just with controlling Western leaders and media, be able to pull off?
Vex, you're 100% right. Vex says one day everyone will have always been against this. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And by then it'll be too late. Remember when I did my stream on the Rwandan genocide? By the time people were like, "Oh, oops, yeah, way too late." Okay, Mr. Justins, I saw IDF vets speaking out and throwing stuff at some sort of meeting, screaming, "Are we the Are we the terrorists?" Yep, yep. And folks, for those of you that are on Twitch here, you haven't been seeing ads because I am not eligible for ads yet on Twitch. So, but that's probably why I haven't seen any over there so far. Okay, guys, we'll continue.
Of a genocide and totally get away with it. Is the entire world population irrelevant? So that is a hell of a question. That's the question that Israel's asking now. Can we get the entire world to shut up and follow our orders and be good little boys and girls and allow us to do this genocide, move the Palestinians out, slaughter them and move them, and then take Gaza and take West Bank and do it right in front of your eyes in the modern world? And I don't know the answer to that.
But don't hate Israelis though, meaning the Israeli government. Don't hate the Israeli government, don't hate the IDF for doing that. In front of everybody, right? It's a live streamed genocide. But don't speak out about it. That would be wrong.
No, yeah, I'm past it today.
Yes, please, King or Alan, please link that.
Maybe I'll get back to it being angry about it tomorrow, right? But guys, at this point, the people defending Israel are only damaging themselves. This is going in history books.
They're loathsome people.
Yeah, and they're going to go and be featured in a museum. By the way, the good guys are also going to be featured in museums. So I saw an Israeli composer today that took a lot of heat, and he just stopped and said, "No, what we're doing is atrocious, and we cannot keep doing this." And we've shown you Holocaust survivors, former Israeli prime ministers, etc. People going, "No, this isn't what Israel was supposed to be." So the folks who are now supporting the genocide are not even just on the Israeli side; they're literally on the side of being pro-genocide.
Yeah.
And so that's not a winning position and never will be. And they'll carry that moral stain with them for the rest of their lives. So
yeah, I just wish the poor Palestinians. I mean, I don't even like to talk about the future, who's going to be blamed and stuff, because by that point, what'll be of the Palestinians? Anyway, okay. Right, weird amorphous blob. I suspect weird amorphous blob. A lot of those folks will still deny it even today. Joshua, I'm telling you guys, the future generations are going to be so disappointed in us as to why we let this happen. Yeah, they absolutely will, Joshua. As a historian, I can tell you that's what's going to be said. Okay, so guys, also, by the way, we're not going to watch this one for the sake of time, but Israel also just 7 hours ago launched another massive military operation against quote unquote Hamas. Okay, as in sending tanks and troops into the Gaza Strip to slaughter more people. Yeah, we are. I think I'm 1 or 2. I haven't checked. I'll check now. I was 1 or 2 subscriptions away from 8,000 subscriptions. I'll actually check now because I'd love to celebrate with all you if I did get to. Yep! Yay! We just got to 8. We are now at 8,004 subscriptions. Yay! Okay, we finally got to 8,000. All right. Anyway, okay, guys. So let me go to Discord. There's some things I wanted to react to. Yep. Excellent. So we did just get. We just got there. All right. Happy 4K, everyone. Okay. Luke, have you seen Sarajevo Safari? I'm trying to find it with the English subtitles online. Foreign tourists were paying to snipe people in Sarajevo, allegedly. It reminded me of the most dangerous game. Oh my God, Luke. Eventually, Luke, I think I've said this before, I'm going to be doing a stream on the Bosnian genocide. Pretty horrific. Okay, Matt Sai guy. I get it, Matt Sai guy. Okay, geez. All right. Louise, congrats. Thank you, Louise. Thank you. Okay, guys. Now on to 10,000. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mithril. Thank you. Okay. So folks, I'm gonna go to the Discord now. There's a few I wanted to watch here. Let me pull it up. Okay. Also, folks, at the top of the page, if you want to join our Discord, I linked it. I linked our Discord page. I recommend everyone join it because it is very good. Okay. I mean, it's a very great community. I'm just looking around here, folks, to see what we got. Thank you, Haiku Jam. It's a quick one. Thank you, Alyssa. So I'm going to do a couple quick ones here. So we'll do Matt Sai guys real fast. Matt Sai guy, just because this is very relevant to what we're doing here. We will watch this real fast. I love this guy. I forget his name. And then don't worry, folks. I'm going to watch the ones above it too. I know some folks posted right above it. I'm just going to go up the page. They look like they're all short. So I'm not trying to skip around. I'm just going through the list so I can remember it. All right. So this is the bombs in Gaza. All right. So let's watch this real fast. I have not seen it. Thank you, Plant Sunshine. Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Okay. Kimberly's here. Hey, Kimberly. All right. All right, folks. So let's go here. Let's do this.
Do you think they should continue to bomb Gaza?
Yeah, should they flood the city, no people.
Really, no people? There are 1 million children in Gaza. You said you want them all gone?
After our hostages come back, then bomb Gaza.
When the hostages come back...
Oh, you need my, you guys need to see it, actually. There we go. Okay, there we go. We'll continue.
You'll bomb Gaza?
I want that.
So when the hostages return, you want to bomb Gaza?
Yeah.
And you want to kill everyone there?
It's maybe because you're an Arab, you are stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maybe.
I'm stupid because I'm Arab? What does that mean?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's pretty horrific. I'm not surprised at all. I am not surprised at all. So let's watch another one of these now. Francis Parker Yockey popped up. Yeah, they'll go crazy. Let's see what else we got here. Folks, so I want to point something out. So I'm not pointing anyone out here, but there have been a lot of folks pushing me to react to certain things. Just realize that there are a lot of reaction videos in the reactions channel, and as the channel grows, it's becoming harder to get to all of them. I will do my best to get to all of them as best I can, okay? But it's difficult, okay? So please don't take it personally if I don't react to some of the things right away. I'm also, for some of the things, I'm going to be doing actual streams on them, and I'll be watching them. Then, like, at some point, I'm going to be doing a stream where we go over American curriculas and kind of dismantle them, and amongst other things. So just be aware of that, okay? Yeah, it's okay, Matt Saga. I'm just saying. There were a lot of reactions, things to react to there, etc. Okay. All right. So, okay. So let me go back here. This is one. So this is the other one. This was sent by okay. So let's watch. This is another fast one. This is from Haiku Jin. Okay, so, all right. So this one, thank you, Haiku, Haku. Who is that in chat? Would you remind me? Is that Justin? Justin. So let's watch this. So again, just to show you some of the humanity here. Hello, Diego. Hello. Okay, let's watch this.
ביטחון, איפה שר האוצר? זה כל מה שאתם נותנים לנו. מיכל, הדפים האלה שהבאתי לכם זה לפני 5 שנים. גיא, לפני 5 שנים התרעתי על המתאבדים האלה. לפני 5 שנים כבר דיברתי. זה לא חדש. לא עשיתם כלום. כלום לא עשיתם. רק לשבת פה. איפה שר הביטחון? איפה שר האוצר? זה מה שאתם נותנים לנו. זה לא חדש. זה מה שאתם נותנים לנו. חולה נפש. אנחנו אובדנות. חולה נפש. הכל אובדנות. מה אנחנו מחבלים? אתם מדברים איתנו שטויות. אנחנו מחבלים. אובדנות, תראי מה זה, אובדנות. אין לכם שום טיפול. רק לשבת פה. איפה שר הביטחון? איפה שר האוצר? זה חולה שאתם נותנים.
That's yeah. I can't imagine now. Yeah, they are a terrorist, absolutely. But remember, folks, and I even feel weird saying this, which is kind of a bad sign. They are human beings, and there are a lot of RDF soldiers who are getting massively traumatized of what they're being asked to do. Now, I don't necessarily feel sympathy, but yeah, that's an excellent show of that. Okay, very interesting. Okay. What we need in our congressional hearings, people dumping out trash cans on top of people they disagree with, right? No, hey, yeah, right. I totally agree, Long Beach Dragon. Right, or taking a big dump on them. Anyway, anyway, no, I was just joking, but yeah, okay. All right, so that was a good one. Let me watch it. Let me see what else we got here. The one right above that. Let's see what Alyssa sent us here.
What if you can create your own website by saying, this is what I want? With Wix, you can.
Breaking news. We've got the text exchange between the...
All right, so folks, Okay, so I am... No, I'm not saying this towards you, Alyssa. I am hesitant to watch this, all right? Because there is a lot of misinformation out there. You're right. By the way, Weird Off Morphous Blob, you're right, okay? They're getting traumatized, and a really easy solution is to withdraw and stop making them do things that traumatize them. I totally agree with you. Okay? Again, I'm not feeling sympathy, but it's an interesting... okay. Matt Saigai, really, it's okay, Matt Saigai. I know you're also joking, too. You're also joking, but really, don't worry, Matt Saigai. But Matt Saigai, I'll watch your stuff eventually. I've watched quite a bit of your stuff already. Yeah, so, okay, it's funny. Oh, I understand, Alyssa, don't worry. I know, okay, so, but allow me to, yeah, Oz, I agree with you. So, I think if Demosthenes is here, I was actually talking to Demosthenes about this. I have been getting a bit frustrated with all the speculation going on about about the political affiliation of the shooter, okay? There is a lot of speculation and misinformation out there on both sides of the political spectrum, okay? And I'm not saying that as someone who is pro, I'm saying it as someone who doesn't want it to be a left-winger, okay? Thank you, the ideology. So, we don't have very good evidence either way. Now then, I want to point out, and I'm not trying to make it seem like I know better than everyone else, but I did have to study history and study documents for a very long time. I am pretty adept at reading documents and understanding biases and things like that. In my opinion, okay, for the lack of evidence we have, it is leaning on the side that the shooter was in fact doing it for left-wing reasons. Is it good enough as evidence to be sure of it? No, it is absolutely not. In the end, we don't know. I don't know. But I can guarantee you that most of the people out there who claim they know don't know, okay? Don't know. Because I don't trust the government documents. I also don't trust the online speculation. We don't know, okay? And also, in the end, folks, it does not really matter, because in the end, the right wing will claim it was a left winger, and in the end, okay. So just be yeah, there you go, And I'm not criticizing anyone out there who does have a strong belief on this. I think the evidence could go either way, so I get it. But when things like this happen, people are prone to conspiratorial thinking or something called confirmation bias, where they only take in information that confirms their point of view. So just be careful, okay? Kimberly Jean, you're 100% right. I don't trust it either. But it is the evidence we have, and it does make it appear that it is left wing. And I think it is more likely that that evidence is correct but it's still not likely, than it is that random speculation is. Okay. In the end, though, we don't know. All right. It should also be noted that I've looked through the court documents and stuff. And in the American political system, the judicial branch is a separate wing of the government. Okay. When you put things in those documents, you better be sure they are accurate. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't some play going on, like some manipulation going on here, but it makes it less likely that you would file it in court documents unless it were accurate. That being said, that doesn't mean it is accurate. Again, my main point here is we don't know. So I like what Oz said. Wait for the trial. Wait for more information to come out. We really don't know. Okay. Okay. So just be cautious. And I also, by the way, yeah, absolutely, Long Beach Dragon. It needs very strict discernment. And the government, Luke, the government seemed to speculate that it was nihilistic, violent extremist. Yeah. And they also seem to speculate that it was like kind of a left-wing thing, but yeah, okay. And actually, Alan, if Alan's still in here, did say something. Alan is still in here. Excellent. That, it might be the first radical centrist we've ever had. It might be. I don't personally think it leans that way, but Alan does have a point. The evidence kind of goes back and forth. So just be cautious. We'll see what this guy has to say. Alan, it's interesting because the Republicans are in a civil war over these messages. Half of them think they're fake because they don't implicate the roommate, and the other half think Israel is involved. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's watch this. Okay.
The alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, and his roommate. This is on Midas Touch. Midas Touch got access to this probably through the fucking FBI or some shit. But
they got access to it through the court filings. Because that's how I got access to it.
I've been reading it, and I don't know if anyone else is gonna be willing to say this. I don't buy it. Isn't this a 22-year-old? I don't know any 22-year-old who refers to their car as their vehicle. Also, the bullet said, "Oh, whoa," but he's in this said, "Ooh, woo." Yo, maybe I'm crazy, but wait till we actually start reading the text, because then.
So, folks, this is actually great. I'm actually glad we're watching this. When someone makes a claim, right? There is a saying that is used all the time. Okay, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Okay, if you are claiming, and I'm saying this as someone that knows, hey, Lost Legacy, that knows that the government does screw around a lot. Okay, if you're claiming that these are fake, you need extraordinary evidence to make that claim. Okay, thank you, Matt Saigai. You're right. Carl Sagan said that. Okay, so again, if I hope you'll go on to explain it here, what his evidence is for this. But if it's just that he feels that it is fake, that is not good enough evidence, right? That could be confirmation bias. I'm going to do a stream sometime about reading documents and sources, but this is just my inner historian coming out. I'm just saying that.
Maybe you're going to be. I'm shaking. I'm shaking at the fact that I am going full Alex Jones right now. I'm Chris Valenti. This is the Valenti VOD. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
By the way, I like the poster in the background, the Democratic Socialist thing. Love that.
And help me out financially because it says no funding. All right, ready? This is Midas Touch. All right, so the roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. Who gives a fuck? The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson, but the shooting provided those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, I gotta lock in, this is serious. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson, which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that said, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange then took place. Okay, this is where, oh dude, I'm so glad some other people, look, see, how do you do, fellow kids? Thank God I'm not the only one. Thank God, okay. Okay, ready?
Again, I'm waiting for what his evidence is for this.
The following text exchange then takes place. I already told, okay. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I'm still okay, my love. But I'm still in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude. By the way, real quick.
So, folks, something else here, okay? Again, Joshua, yeah, maybe he does talk eloquently. The roommate is a witness to all this. So, if this is fake, the roommate would know, would they not? So, again, from what I've read, too, the roommate has confirmed the conversation. Does that mean the roommate wasn't intimidated or something into doing that? No, maybe they were, but again, it doesn't, just because the texts don't sound right, doesn't mean that they aren't right. Okay, people speak in different ways. I've seen it as a teacher. Okay, so just be aware of that.
I'm gonna cut away. That crazy old dude is a dead-ass crisis actor. I'm not even fucking kidding! Ah! Oh, shit!
Long Beach Dragon, I'm 48, Saturday, and I never referred to my partner as my love. That rings to me more of the 1960s. Long Beach Dragon, that's fair. As a teacher, right, I've had to read tons of essays and things like that. Tons of stories written by students. I have seen people use that phrase. It could just be that he does. I don't know. Right, me too, Kimberly. And it's not helping, folks, that this guy is like crashing out on the screen while we're watching it.
No, they grab
Meowzord. No, listen, Meowzord. Okay, first of all, Meowzord. That video, the erudite video was great for sparking discussion. And this, I'm glad Alyssa sent this because this is great for sparking discussion. And as Demosthenes knows, because I spoke to him about this, it's something I've kind of wanted to talk about. Yeah, Kimberly.
Grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out. But there's one vehicle lingering. Again, fuck you mean vehicle? What 22-year-old does say? What 22-year-old says vehicle? Why? Why did I do it? Yeah! I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Cut. Retrieve? Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Reminder, 22-year-old
A 22-year-old who was an honor student, a 22-year-old who was by everyone's, a 22-year-old who was renowned for being an excellent student. Again, we don't know. But I'll tell you what, Long Beach Dragon, people have probably seen it in Discord. I speak like I'm kind of an old man sometimes. Anyway, it doesn't, just because it sounds kind of odd, this is not evidence, okay? It is just feeling. We need other evidence, okay?
Fucking far-right Groiper.
Wait, what is far-right Groiper?
Cash!
So, by the way, folks, wait, let me see what he said. I missed it about being a Groiper.
Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Reminder, 22-year-old fucking far-right Groiper.
What? We don't know. Okay, so folks, okay. Again, you notice I'm nervous to even talk about this because there's so much emotion out there. There is zero evidence that he was a Groiper. None. Okay, now speculation that is very speculative and is not real evidence. There are people who say that he was a Groiper. I have seen zero confirmatory evidence of that. Also, I've seen zero confirmatory evidence that he was far right. If anything, I have seen evidence that he may have used to be more of a Republican, but then he turned to the left. Again, we don't know. Okay?
Cash! What are you doing, Cash? I can see right through you, brother. Why? Why did I do?
Alyssa, that's a fair point. You say a 4.0 GPA, and he texted every piece of evidence, right, Alyssa? And not only that, Alyssa, he was found wearing the same clothing that he had used in the shooting. Okay. Yeah, Joshua, you're right. I've seen some of that, but I don't really buy that. Bella Ciao is an anti-fascist song. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Nick Fuentes has used that sometimes, but that's a very obvious anti-fascist term, very left-wing. Again, it is irrelevant. We don't know. I want to point that out. I know I'm appearing to siding with one side here. The evidence is still not conclusive. Okay. Mr. Justins, I heard a quote from his parents that he was a fan of Nick. See, Mr. Justins, again, and folks, again, please believe what you want to believe. I heard a quote from his mother, and this was from a government document, that she saw him going to the left, getting more involved with gay rights issues and with trans rights. Okay, so I have not seen the evidence you're mentioning in a good source. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If you could send it to me, I would like to see that.
What? I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated.
Yeah, weird amorphous blob. I'm not going to say that out loud, but I feel you there. Okay, I do. I mean, it's not like you said anything bad. I just don't want to. Okay. Yeah, Matt Saigai, I do know. That is true, but Legia Miller, I love Legia Miller, but I also feel that because I've seen her video, I also feel there may be some confirmation bias going on there. Yeah.
It out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it.
Yeah, I agree. Vext. So Vexed, I'm sorry, Vexed has a great point. Am I the only one that doesn't really care? I feel like either way, you're right. It doesn't matter, Vexed, because in the end, the right wing is going to say it was left wing. Okay. The left wing is going to say it was right wing. So it doesn't matter. This is why I didn't even really, I've been avoiding talking about it too much, because in the end, it doesn't really matter. And ultimately, we don't know anyway. Okay. Okay.
Have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it.
A form of ketamine was recently approved by the FDA for depression. Ketamine.
Oh God, I need some ketamine anyway.
Squad car? Never in my fucking life have I called a cop a squad car. I call him 12. I call him a cop.
Just because
I call him a
doesn't
fed.
mean someone else did.
Oh shit, guys, watch out! There's a squad car over there. What did you just say? Are you a narc? Are you wearing a wire? Could you imagine? Yo, could you imagine? Somebody, you're doing something illegal. I don't know. It's 2011. You're smoking a joint, and this guy posted like, "Hey, I saw you in your vehicle over there. You should be careful. There's a squad car down the road."
But see, Matt Saigai. So Matt Saigai, you make a good point there. So Matt Saigai, the song is also used in fascist circles as a dig. But as you just said, Matt Saigai, it's also used on the left, right? So Legion Miller and other folks who come out and say that's a sign this person was a groiper are ignoring the fact that it is also used on the left, right? And Luke, yeah, it could just be someone looking, trying to cause chaos. And like I said, I've noticed a lot of folks on the left who have come out and said the Bella Ciao thing is a sign of being a groiper, but it is also a sign of being on the left. We don't know which one he means. Okay.
You want to buy some marijuana? No thanks, officer. No thanks. Come on. Okay.
Meowzord, you're right.
How long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I believe. You would know. A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck will I
blob? I love it. I love it. The bickering over the politics of the shooter and the morality of the action itself feel way too distracting from the whole crackdown, because there's going to be a crackdown anyway, folks, which is what I was originally saying, right? Historically, there's a trend here. So again, that's why, like, we don't know, and in the end, it doesn't matter, because what we need to look out for is the crackdown. Great job. Yeah, I love that weird amorphous blob. Okay, that's fair, Matt Saiga. I can't really remember. It could be that Legion Miller was saying that it doesn't. It could be right. Yeah, Lee Lane. It's okay. Some of you guys are after my heart right now. Okay, Lee Lane says, honestly, I don't care if he's left or right. What I think matters is he grew up in gun culture. Yeah, if his dad gave him this rifle as a gift, that should not be legal. Okay, that's insane. Okay, so it just. Yeah, we're of course, no one's talking about the guns, okay?
Explain it, losing to my old man. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? Yo, please comment down below and tell me if I'm going fucking crazy or...
So his dad actually came out and confirmed that once he thought the gun that he saw on TV appeared to be the gun he had purchased his son, he actually sent his son a message. So, that would appear to be a real part of the text, at least if we go by what the dad said. And again, we don't know, but okay.
If this is like the most obvious fucking bullshit I've ever seen, that's a Fed wrote.
See, but that's funny because that's like one part of the text chain that we do know. Yep, Joshua, 100%. And I know I'm engaging in that right now, but I've been avoiding over talking about it. So please forgive me. Okay.
There's no 22-year-old on Earth who would have written some shit like that. Oh, okay. It keeps going. Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel.
Remember how I was engraving the bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge ooh woo on Fox News, I might have a stroke. Alright, I'm gonna have to leave it. That really fucking sucks.
Alright, yo, linguistics champions here. Why is it fucking and then fucking? Fucking and fucking. What's that? It's mostly a big meme.
Well, if anything, I've seen how young people write. They do that. They mix up internet lingo or truncated versions of words with normal words. I think so, Demosthenes.
It's mostly a big meme? What is it? Bullshit. Fed. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. And then one of those with the crying because he lost it. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now. Not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. You're telling me your lover didn't know that? This is just like check. Fill all the blanks.
Doug, on the left, it's possible that because he did own this firearm, Doug on the left said, why is it that the person who was receiving the text had no idea about it, but remember me engraving the cartridges? Weird inconsistencies. So it's possible he was engraving the cartridges while the partner was nearby, because apparently he would have shot the gun previously. The partner may not have even known what he was engraving on the gun, or he could have just said it was for practice shooting. So it's very possible the partner did not know. And I will say, the partner did appear in the text chain to not know what he had done. So it might just be that he didn't know what he was engraving it for.
You know what I mean? Just like Kash Patel's like, how can we just fill every single blank and really cover our ass in the most obvious fucking way? Okay. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent.
Okay.
Fed.
Yeah, we don't know that, folks. We don't know that. I'm not saying it's not possible, but that is not good evidence. Just saying you think it sounds like not real is not good evidence, because people write and talk in a variety of different ways in a variety of different circumstances. It could very well be that that is the way he talks. And also, yeah. So again, this is not, again, it could be, maybe it is fake, but this is absolutely 100% not conclusive. This is not good evidence that would stand up in any court if you're trying to prove it was fake, just saying it doesn't feel that way isn't good evidence, okay? So as you're parsing through the arguments people are making, remember, okay, we are human beings. Our brains are pre-programmed to have biases towards certain things. And just something to be aware of, okay? Okay. Long Beach Dragon, I did not see that. Would you send me a source on that? The idea that they tried to say that the stamping of the bullet with the manufacturer's name was etched by Robinson. Would you send me a source on that? I am curious if that's the case. Yeah, you're right, Mr. Justins. It would be a pretty shitty attempt at concealing themselves if it was the FBI or something. You're right, Luke. I agree. It'd be nice if they posted the pictures they took of the messages. And I suspect, Luke, that in the court they would do that. They'd probably present that as evidence. Yep, Alan, you're right. The incompetence of Kash Patel has made this worse. So, folks, okay, I'm going to stop there on this. I'm going to go back to my face here. Again, folks, I don't just, okay, we don't know. We simply don't know. I don't trust the government's evidence until it is examined in a court of law and questioned by attorneys who are defending the defendant. And I definitely don't trust the random speculation online at places like Twitter and such. Okay. We don't know. Okay. And it's unlikely we will know unless until the actual court happens. And in the end, it doesn't really matter, okay? Because the Trump administration is going to demonize and make it seem like a lefty no matter what. Yeah, okay. And I can guarantee you, folks, I've talked about this on stream before. When something like this happens, it's going to give birth to conspiracy theories that take a life of their own. This happens in every major assassination in history, okay? And even if strong evidence does come out that shows that he was left-wing, okay, there's still going to be people who say it's a government cover-up and a conspiracy. Might it be? Yes. But that doesn't, but it could also not be, okay? So just be careful, especially when you're on social media. There's a lot of nonsense on social media. That is not good evidence, okay? Any historian would tell you, not a good source, not a good source. That's no, I believe Long Beach Dragon is right. I just would like, I'm very cautious about sources, so, but that's possible, Alan. They thought that the stamping of the manufacturer was trans ideology. That is fair. Okay, yeah, so they were wrong about that. If that's what happened. Again, I'm not denying Long Beach Dragon. You have to understand, folks, my history brain comes out. I need to see the evidence, okay? That is fair. I know that when I think I even posted it on Discord how the New York Times had reported that the bullet was engraved with like trans ideology and things like that, which is not true. But anyway, okay, guys. So, all right. All right, folks. So I've been going on now for about 2.5 hours. I will react to more stuff tomorrow. I'm sorry. I know I didn't get to everyone, but I'll try to go through all the reactions as best I can. And okay, so I'm going to get off for now. I'm getting kind of hungry. Okay, folks. So I think you all know what I'm going to say here. All right. Thank you, everyone who contributed today. I will come back on tomorrow, as always, probably around the same time, around 2 p.m. Okay. Okay. So, all right, guys. You all know what I'm going to say, right? God, it looks like I have vomit above my eyes. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So here we go. You all know what I'm going to say. First of all, right? Listen, I don't want to get Matt Saigai mad at me for eating fake Indian food. Okay. Thank you, Long Beach Dragon. Thank you. I'm legitimately curious. I'm not trying to like do a got you. Okay. So, all right. So here we go. All right. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Okay. Second of all, never stop resisting. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves, and that includes when you watch me. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I am a human being. Don't get caught in an information silo. See what other people are saying. The easiest way to resist is to think for yourselves. Secondly, here, we are living in a fascist moment in this country, not only this country, but around the world. Okay. Fascism thrives in an environment where people have lost faith in their democratic institutions because it's no longer providing for them the things they need. And people lose faith in it. The way to fix that is to enact major reforms. We need major reforms in this country, not only in this country, but in other countries around the world. You cannot stand in the center. Do not stand in the center. If you stand in the center, the fascists will walk all over you every single time. Do not stand in the center. We need major reforms in this country, okay? And we don't even have to go crazy with it. I know I'm a socialist, but we only have to go a little bit to the left, okay? We don't have to go full crazy what I would want, okay? Which I don't think is crazy, but you see what I mean, okay? On the wall behind me is a sword. The name of that sword is Chainbreaker. Chainbreaker has been passed down in my family for many years. It is rumored to have been responsible for the death of 7 slave owners. Why do I have it back there? I have it back there to remind everyone that our ancestors made major sacrifices for some of the things we have today, some of the rights we have, some of the economic freedoms, okay? We cannot let their sacrifice go to waste. Please, please, please do not let our ancestors' sacrifices go to waste. Some of those things are being rolled back, okay? And always, 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 always fight for a better future, folks. And on that note, folks, Thank you all for watching. I'm glad the electricity didn't go out today. Okay, have a good afternoon, evening, day, wherever you may be.